Great. Well, welcome everyone. This is our first attempt at a Human Rights Foundation vibe coding webinar. We have three people on the line here. My name is Alex. I'm the Chief Strategy Officer of the Human Rights Foundation. We have Justin Moon, who is our technical lead on the AI for Individual Rights program. And we have Janice Vakadaza, who is the leader of the Freedom Fellowship at Href, the community manager of a lot of the activism at Href, and she's currently pioneering a new program around resilience, which is pretty exciting. So the three of us are going to talk through how AI tools can be useful for activists. I just wanted to preface this by saying we launched an AI for Individual Rights program a few months ago. You can check it out at href.org/AI. There's been some commentary lately about, well, how useful is vibe coding, where you basically usually speak into a terminal, as we're about to see, and an agent does the work for you. For coding and for software developers, the jury's sort of out. A lot of people think it helps a lot. Other people think that, look, you got to redo all the work anyway. But what people seem to be, let's say, having a consensus around is vibe coding is super useful for non-technical people. So people that aren't coders and they want to do certain things that a coder might find relatively simple, but they can do it themselves now without hiring a coder. And I can tell you that most of the activist groups we work with have very small budgets. They don't necessarily have the time or the money to go hire software developers to build things for them. So things like websites and apps and research projects and reports and presentations can be done unilaterally without having to interface with third parties. That's going to make the lives of human rights activists so much easier, and it's going to make their work so much stronger. So I think that's just the outset. Janice, do you want to give some color to maybe some of the challenges that activists have, and how these new tools might be able to help?
Yeah, Alex, thank you. I think the pain in every activist movement is to find a graphic designer that can work with you, understand the work that you're doing, and produce content quickly to begin with. And then after the graphic designer, for those that maybe have a little budget, comes a question about how to have a website and have things that probably you need someone to code for you. And not only is it difficult to allocate funding for these things, because usually this is what goes into the communications aspect of the work, while in reality you are organizing protests on the ground, probably have to support some political prisoners and their family. There's a lot of other urgent needs that also require funding. And in the general environment that we're in, especially this year, it's been very hard. Many institutions that work in human rights that already had funding have lost it. So anything that can help activists minimize costs and also explore avenues in which they can do things by themselves is super useful. So I hear what you're saying in terms of the criticism to vibe coding. I approach this with curiosity. But from my perspective as an activist that doesn't know how to code and is not a graphic designer, this sounds like the solution that I didn't even know could exist. So I'm excited to see how we can work with it. Because again, many movements that people know internationally have been around for a while, but there are many movements that are created every year that start in neighborhoods in small cities in different parts of the world. And those do not have institution behind them, they don't have funding, and they want to get their message out and they want to do so effectively. So I think this will make the road easier for those that are starting the work for human rights on the ground.
I think what's important to note is we're going to show you a couple of use cases here where we're going to be doing some more banal work that doesn't require necessarily genius level of attention and your time and energy, but it's stuff that just you sort of have to do, right? As someone who works at a nonprofit, right? So we're going to look at some of the basics stuff, and in future episodes or shows that we'll put out run by Justin, we'll get into more detailed. All right, so over to you, Justin.
All right, so without further ado, let's get started. So today we'll use a platform called Replit. You can find it at replit.com, replit.com. It's probably the easiest tool to vibe code with. And the reason is that they've done a lot of work on it, polished a bunch of rough edges. And once you have a little website or something that you'd like to share with other people, they make it very easy to deploy it to the internet, give it a URL or something like that. So it's great for an end-to-end experience. Okay, so this is Replit. You can just create an account for free and use it a little bit, but at a certain point, they will ask you to pay, but you can get started for free. And so the call to action here is to describe an app or a website, which is pretty wild. Just a year ago, if you wanted to make an app or a website, you probably had to spend, thousands of dollars or a few months of time to learn how to do it, and you wouldn't be very good in that case at all. So today, I think what we want to do is to make a website for the Freedom Fellows, the HRF Freedom Fellows. So and as a first step, we'll make a website for the HRF Freedom Fellows, and as a second step, we'll add the ability to accept Bitcoin payments. So what we want to do is describe an app. So we could say, I think maybe it would be good to describe what the Freedom Fellows are, and we could say, hey, use the colors of the existing HRF website, which Replit will be smart enough to go out and find and figure out what the colors are. We could also potentially give it a screenshot or two. So let's try that. So I'm going to say, and for this first one, I'll type it, but in our second prompt, I will we'll do a different way that might be a little easier. So I want to make a website for the Freedom Fellows program at the Human Rights Foundation. Janice, could you give me like a one sentence, maybe like a tagline for the Freedom Fellows? Like, what is it?
It's a 1-year program in which we give 13 to 15 human rights activists from all across the globe expert mentorship in 12 different areas so that they can escalate the impact of their work.
How many 12 different areas?
Mm-hmm.
So, wow. Okay, that's better reading comprehension, or that's better listening comprehension than my middle school teachers would believe I was capable of. Okay, so we have that. So like first sentence, what I want to do. Second sentence, what is it? And then let's say like use the visual style of hrf.org. And just so you can see, oh, look at that. So it's seeing hrf.org. I think it'll probably go look that up, but just as reference, this is the HRF website. So we want to make it kind of look a little similar. My internet speed is not very good right now, but it actually doesn't matter when you're vibe coding because most of it happens in the cloud for Replit. So, okay, use the visual website of hrf.org. And is there anything else we need? Do you think this is? I think this is probably good.
Is it possible to ask that it uses the Freedom Fellowship logo?
Okay. Yeah. Where can I find
the
that?
HRF website.
So
it's on the HRF website on the Freedom Fellows.
Okay.
That's the logo.
Oh, this
the one on
logo.
top.
Okay.
The Freedom Fellows with 3 lines.
Yeah. So this is one thing you'll do a lot when you're vibe coding. You learn to copy and paste. So you can just, at least on a Mac, you can double click and then say copy image, and you can come over here and just copy it right in. Oh, that will give you the whole thing. Let's see. Let's just tell it. Let's see if it's smart enough. So I attached an image that contains the Freedom Fellow logo. Please use it. Let's see if it's smart enough.
To be clear, hold on. So, Janice, it's the Freedom Fellowship or Freedom Fellows? Freedom Fellows, right? Is it good?
Freedom Fellows, yes.
Great. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
Okay. Yeah, and so, this isn't really scientific, and it's also not something that you need to be perfectionist about. Just try your best. And
do we want to add the ability to donate now or on a second time?
We could. Let's just throw it in there. Maybe this is it's called one-shotting it. We'll try to one-shot.
Yeah. So basically, HRF has been involved in helping support infrastructure to make it easier for activists to accept payments permissionlessly from around the world, regardless of where you are. And one of the things we did was a bounty program where we basically put out some challenges, and people came from around the world and met those challenges. And now there's a product where we can have a privacy protecting static address for Bitcoin Lightning payments. So I'm going to paste this one over to Justin, and he can put it in here. And this one is basically something that anyone can pay with a compatible wallet. And we'll just make sure that it's it's a funny super secret shadowy coder phrase, but it's the one I just pasted into the studio chat. Justin is the one. But yeah, 12 cash is the product that you can use to create these payment codes. But basically that way anyone can go and they'll be able to donate Bitcoin to the Freedom Fellows.
We would like to use a BIP 352, was it 352? 353 username of blah to receive. Yeah, this is a way to receive a payment in a new, very nice way of receiving payments. Okay, so let's just fire away. So just to recap, you write some text, describe what you want to do. You can include screenshots, and then you just hit go. So let's do it. You can see it'll talk to you a little bit. Okay, I'm going to summarize what the user asked for, and it will go and search the web. It's probably going and visiting the href.org website to try to see what the visual style of href, what visual style href uses. Okay, so we have a sort of a checkpoint before that it actually makes a working website where it makes a visual rendering. So this is, the buttons won't work. I click on this button, nothing happens. But it has like a visual rendering of the whole site, and this is what it will look like. And it just says, okay, before I actually make the website, does this look good? And the process that Janice was talking about earlier is very similar here, right? She was saying you need to get a graphic designer, and maybe they design you something, and then maybe you get a developer. And this kind of the same thing, where we get a graphic design, and then it's going to switch over to developer mode and actually make a website where the buttons work, right? The buttons here do not work. And it makes some names up. So afterwards, we would want to go through and use the real Freedom Fellows and the real biographies. But actually, I don't know. These might actually be real. But I feel like I've seen that name before.
Yeah, some of these are real for sure.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Maybe I saw it on the Freedom Fellow website. So that's really cool, right? So it was able to go and find the Freedom Fellow program by searching the web, and it was able to actually pull some real people. So that is even surprised me. Oh yeah, okay. So yeah, look, it found. I think that is
the mentors. Those are the mentors.
Is that what he looks like though? I feel like he looks a little different.
That is a great.
Yeah, so you can see it's very clever in some ways, but sometimes it's not so clever in other ways, but you can tell it. So it was able to find the name and the bio of a real mentor, but it found a different picture. Oh yeah, okay.
No, I think all the names and descriptions and titles are okay. It's the pictures that need to be worked on, but we can work on that easily.
Yeah, so
it's still easier.
This is a glimpse into how clever and resourceful this thing can be. It has the entire internet at its disposal, and yeah, that is really neat. I've used it before, and I'm still surprised. Okay, so let's say approve, plan, and start. So basically, hey, the rendering looks good. We could have gone back and forth a little bit, but in the in order to just give you an understanding, let's accept. And so now it will actually start producing the computer code. This is the thing that is so painful for many people to learn and was required if you wanted to produce software. What vibe coding is, it's a new way to produce software, right? Something that you can use without having to know anything about coding, which is really neat. So you can see here, these are actually files, and you can see it's spitting out code. This is all computer code that will be used. So this is probably, this is what it's going to look like to save the applications to our program in the database. There's a database table called applications, and it's asking people for their names and their organizations and so on and so forth. Here's something for donations, right? So look at that. So I suspect already it might not do exactly what we told it because it's asking for a Bitcoin address, and we gave it a Lightning thing. But it's pretty cool, right? It's saving all this. It's even saving newsletters, right? So you can kind of get a little bit of a sense of it as you watch it, and But this is all the stuff that's very tedious to do. These are the different pages, right? So here's the home page. Here's an about. Here's a list of, here's the fellows, right? Here's mentors, application.
Most of us activists would never be able to do this bit.
Exactly. So that's the thing that's really neat. So I'll stop there. I am a programmer, so I like to go and look at what it's doing. But that's the really neat thing is like, traditionally you had to have a sort of an aptitude for this, and then it would take about 6 months to learn how to do it if you wanted to do it yourself. And that's all time that you wouldn't be doing activism, which is what all of the Freedom Fellows are actually good at. That's their unique skill. And so this is really fantastic, right? You take some of the grunt work out of having to do this yourself or having to hire somebody and have a AI do it for you.
Right. And if you're, and this is just, we're doing this complete blank canvas, kind of cold open. We're not prepping for this at all. Obviously, if we prep for this, we would have the logo handy, and we might have a color palette and a few other things handy for it. And we might even have a folder that has the photos of all the people, right?
Yeah,
so
generally,
it's like,
the more you give it, the better it will do.
Yeah,
but the other thing that's fun about vibe coding is that don't feel like you have to like really prepare and do it correctly. Just try something. Just put a couple sentences in there, load up Replit, put a couple sentences in there, and then sort of watch what it does. And 10, 15 minutes later, see what came out. And it's not something that you need to feel like you have to do perfectly. Just give it a try.
Well, also what's going to happen is once it delivers the goods, we can do like one round of edits, right? We can be like, hey, change this, change that. The point is that like, this is a process where, for many years, making a website, deploying a website was daunting, for most people, annoying, required just a lot of time, and something people dreaded, and it's kind of hard to make it look right. I mean, even like our own personal websites, maybe could use help. So this was like basically no prompt at all, but you can really go deep on the prompt, both for design, like a website or a report, and for like a research report. It's a pretty exciting moment. And I would also just qualify that this technology, this vibe coding, didn't really exist like 8 months ago. It's something that the terminology was only really developed in February, and the use cases really only started to come online, let's say six months ago. And most people in the mainstream don't even know it exists yet. Like most people in politics or in the news or media don't even know that there's a way for you to just speak to a machine and have it make you something that's good. I think a lot of obviously developers are using it now, but a vast swath of the world has no idea. So we're at the beginning of something quite massive.
Okay, so now it has just finished writing the pages, the code, and now it is trying to run it. So it went from a visual rendering, and now it is finished writing the actual code, which is just text, and it is now trying to run it. So you can see it switched to running up here, and this should just take a few minutes or a few seconds. We'll see. Okay, now here we go. It is trying to fire up a browser within a browser and load our app. And while it does that, you can kind of see a little printout of what it did. After it finished running, it took a screenshot to give us a little rendering. It told us how long it took, how all the code it changed. It wrote 5,000 lines of code, just as reference. Usually a good programmer maybe does a couple hundred in a day. So it did a lot of work. And the agent usage was, it used $1.36 worth of AI compute. And it got close, but it seems like the background color might be a little wrong up here. That's the first thing I noticed.
Yeah. I think it just might be a scaling issue. Yeah.
Yeah. So it looks a lot better usually they do a pretty good job of making it responsive, but at this width, it looks a lot better. We could compare it with the screenshot, but you'll see it did use a lot of the href, the styles, the colors.
The colors, yeah.
Yeah, it used the colors. It got a lot of the stuff. Along the way, we lost our good friend Vanessa here, a picture at least, but it got a lot of the rest of the pictures. and the footer and everything like that looks really good. And it seems like, let's see if we got the donation. Yeah, it looks like the donation. Oh, here's the donation. Okay. Yeah, so we were able to. Interesting.
Nice. Well, that's there. That's what you
Well,
want.
let's
Right?
see what we get. Okay, I was a little disappointed there for a second. So, how much should we maybe donate $1? And I'm gonna donate. I'm gonna have Alex Gladstein donate, and we'll omit the email for now. But let's see what I have no idea what it's gonna do here.
It's
Okay.
going to just tell you
Oh,
to
wow.
send.
Okay.
Yeah, but
I thought it was going to. So one thing we could tell it is like, hey, make a. So this will try to open it in a wallet. What would be nice is if it showed you a QR code, maybe, so you could scan it with your phone.
yeah, well, I could give you that too.
Yeah.
The point is that's an easy fix. But the point is, someone visiting this website would be able to send money to the Freedom Fellows using this kind of, let's say, money email format from quite a few Bitcoin wallets at this point these days. And it's like privacy protecting, and it's just a nice nifty thing to have. But this could be a Stripe integration with debit cards. It could be an on-chain Bitcoin address. It could be whatever you need.
So yeah, as we said, we just totally did this without really preparing, just because we wanted to show you how easy it is. So one thing that you can do with Replit is it's very easy to actually create a website. And this is one thing you do have to pay for. It costs like $20 a month, which is a little expensive, but it's a lot less expensive than a programmer. And so I'm just going to accept the thing, and let's say. So I'm just call it. We're going to try to get a URL. It'll be hrf-freedom-fellows.replit.app. And so I'm just going to deploy this, and after the webinar, I'll leave this up, and you'll be able to visit what we created. And this takes a couple minutes, but this is how you actually get it to live on the internet. If you want to, you can give it a custom domain, like a real name domain, instead of just a replit.com domain. But this is what Replit makes very, very easy.
Yeah. So I guess what we're showing is, and if you want to go to that, why don't you show them the Freedom Fellows homepage that exists right now? Yeah, there you go. So this one is great. Go down. It's got a lot of cool features. It's got a video that plays. It's got some testimonials, and it's got some cool animations. But at the end of the day, I mean, again, this took months. So my sense is someone like Janice could sit here and spend an afternoon with no technical knowledge, and get something that's 90% as good as this for a few dollars of compute, and for maybe you pay the $20 so you get the deployment, and pay a little more and have it on Ahrefs website. But the point is, like, you're enabling non-technical people to put power in their hands without having to deal with an army of contractors and with people in different countries and making payments. And I mean, it's pretty amazing.
So we now have a URL. So it's long because we didn't give it a custom domain, but it's hrf-freedom-fellows.replit.app. And
I'm there. I'm looking at it right now. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah. So, like, this is wild, right? Like, there are some things that don't look quite right. Like, it feels like it's missing so the background color isn't quite right. See how there's white text here? But that's something we could follow up and tell it. But this is wild. Like, it's mostly very good, and we could iterate with it in the future. So just shows you how
maybe Janice will iterate with it over the coming week, and and then by the time you watch this video and you're checking it out, it's looking pretty cool.
Let me show you one more way to iterate with Replit that's a little easier than typing. So most computers have a way to dictate. So I'm going to hold the microphone button on my Mac and speak into it. I'm going to press and let go. I think the background color should be dark. In the initial rendering, it was dark. And I noticed that there is some text that is white that doesn't show up against the white background. Please fix. Okay, so that was really easy. Didn't even have to type. And I'm just gonna, because you can see here, I'm gonna select it. So I'm just gonna create a screenshot of this. On a Mac, it's like Command Shift 3 or 4. You don't have to remember that. It's something you can learn. But I'm just gonna create a little screenshot of that and give it over here just so it knows. So, you know, rapid fire with the screenshots is helpful when vibe coding. And let's see if it's able to fix it.
And it goes to like the master. It'll edit what's deployed, or you have to redeploy it.
I think we'll have to redeploy it. So see how now there's a button here as we start to
Aha, nice.
iterate?
Okay, but
Yeah, so
it'll show it to you in here. It'll show you the new draft.
Exactly. So this is something that's really useful. You know, we call it in programming, we call it environments, right? You have a production environment, which is this one. And over here is our development environment. This is where we're tinkering and breaking stuff and, you know, stuff like that. So this is something that Replit makes really, really easy. And this is why Replit's a great place to start. But there are obviously many other options. And you can see it here. Sometimes it'll produce code, which you probably don't want to read, but sometimes it will produce text kind of summarizing. And you can see, hey, I can see what you're talking about, right? The hero section, it's white on white. So you can kind of, sometimes you can read this and just sense, you know, does Replit know what I'm talking about or doesn't it? And yeah, it's very helpful there, kind of showing its work. Yeah, there you go. So look, so this is the new rendering, and this is what's currently there.
Wow.
And I'll refresh it a couple times and show you, like I'm refreshing, right? Like this is one thing that's great about Replit is that you can kind of make changes over here, and you're not going to break the website in case some people are there. So this looks, honestly, this part looks pretty bad, right? Because but now it was able to, okay, so it had a preview, and now it's actually making a running version of it. But you know, it looked really good a few moments ago, and let's see. Okay, boom. So now this is an actual running website, but not running for everybody else, just running in my little environment. And so you can see, you can click around, it's not fake, and boom, that really pops, doesn't it? The colors here are fantastic.
Yeah, much better. And again, like someone like, again, anyone with no technical knowledge or design skills can sit here and just kind of vibe. That's the idea. Just use your taste and say, I want it a little different. Try this, try that. And again, within an afternoon, you can easily have a killer website that's fully integrated with everything you need. And you know, that's just priceless, honestly, to, you know, with essentially minimal cost, like a few dollars, to be able to do this is a massive upgrade for groups. And you can start thinking about, forget websites, like translation reports, book publications, keynote presentations. These are all things we're going to dive into and teach you guys how to be able to make effectively in future editions of this. So we're going to wrap here. This is just a little glimpse of what's possible using AI tools, but I wanted to thank you guys, and maybe Janice, if you have just like a concluding message for your fellow activists here, like what do you recommend that they, you know, roll up their sleeves and check this out, or what's your recommendation?
Yeah, no, I don't think I'm gonna have to convince anyone. People are gonna run into this as soon as they find out. What I do recommend is for people that are working on vibe coding right now, that we make sure that we make this known, because I think there's many activists that could benefit from this. And sometimes, even though the tools are there, activists don't hear about it. That's why they're not using them. But I was even thinking, in the case of arrest, you need to like set up a very good campaign to advocate for someone's release, but you usually don't have time to do that because things happen very quickly. So this would also very easily make advocacy for political prisoners or humanitarian work when a disaster happens so much easier for fundraising and promotion. So I'm super excited and thankful that I'm part of HRF and I get to witness this and bring it to the community. And no, I don't think there's any reason to be skeptical about how good vibe coding is. Like, there's no downside to this from my perspective.
And I'd say lastly, if you have any, if you have successes, if you have failures, let us know and we'll try to help you. We'll try to share what worked and help you with what didn't.
Awesome. Well, thanks guys. And we'll see you next month. Take care.